Hi, so we just wanted to jump on here and talk a little bit about the market now that we're heading into 2026. I am Shannon Stone, and Tamara Stone is here as well, the two of us at Stone Sisters, Remax Kelowna Stone Sisters, and we just thought we would talk about the market.
Well, and sort of as a follow-up, Shannon, you did a great interview the other night with CBC, and we're getting all kinds of people from across the country who are watching this, and we thought it would be great to jump on and dive a little deeper. That was a short segment about Kelowna real estate, but why did they want to talk about Kelowna, Shan?
Yeah, it was so interesting. So they reached out because overall the stats in the BC market came out, and the stats aren't looking that good, to be honest. Sales volume is down, prices are down, inventory's up. So the overall market for BC wasn't looking that great, except for a few segments or a few pockets of the market, the Okanagan being one of them. So they wanted to reach out and talk about, well, what are we seeing in the Okanagan, and why are our numbers actually faring pretty well?
Yeah,
Jumping a little bit further into that, I think part of it is, and Tamara, you can speak more to this too, but part of it is that we're not in a market that is just tied to investors and affordability
exactly.
as well. We're tied to a market that people are moving within the Okanagan. We've got lots of transitions happening within the Okanagan, lots of downsizers that are moving to the Okanagan. And I think a driving thing for our market is we're tied so much to lifestyle here. It's not
Yeah,
an it's
and
it's
we
not
always have
jobs.
been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think way back to before I was even in real estate, and Chatelaine magazine called Kelowna the number one place in Canada to retire to. And fast forward to 2026, it's not just retirees. We have a lot of people that do move for retirement, but we have a lot of people who, as you're saying, Shan, move for lifestyle, for their kids to go to university, for them to, you know, they can work from home, they own a company, and they just want to live in a Four Seasons playground.
Well, and when we look at the actual numbers, so as I said, BC overall was down, our sales were up. So unit sales were up 7%. Our prices overall were up about 6%. Sales volume was up a fair amount. So we're seeing more expensive properties sell this last year than we did the year prior. So sales volume was up about 13.5% in 2025. And
Wow.
I do think that we're going to see that continue into 2026. The momentum is already happening. We're sitting right now beginning of January, and it's relatively busy. We're cautiously optimistic, I
Yeah.
guess we'll say.
Yeah. Well, something that I like to really track is the number of showings that we get. So Stone Sisters right now, we're at 74 listings, is it, Shannon? 75?
Yes. Yep.
And year over year, we like to track how many showings that we're having, how many each day, how many each week, each month. And currently it's really trending higher. We are seeing some sales, as you're saying. It's been a good start to the year for Stone Sisters. And actually I think the market overall it's decent. But it's looking at that level of activity that to me is sort of a key indicator that okay, I'm feeling, as you're saying, Shan, I'm feeling cautiously optimistic here.
Well, and I think something as well, we've been so lucky this year with our weather. And, it sounds funny to say, but real estate is a little tied to weather. It certainly is in the Okanagan when we're so tied to that lifestyle component. And we have no
Yeah.
snow. It's a beautiful sunny day. I don't have a window in here, so you can't see, but it's a beautiful sunny day here in the Okanagan. And there is a huge snowstorm happening back out east right now. So I think that helps us as well.
Well, look at it. We've got some people right now from Grand Prairie and looking at coming here because they just, her words were, "I can't take it anymore." And
Yes.
they're looking as they decide where to go, and anywhere. She's not working. Her husband has a company, so they're able to live somewhere. They didn't want to go to Vancouver and deal with the traffic and those sky high real estate prices. They want somewhere with a good hospital. They want somewhere with an airport because they do want to travel lots. And she said they've been to Kelowna once, and they are committed and just embarking on their search to find something here because of the lifestyle that we offer.
Well, and I think you mentioned a few other really key components too, which is the airport that we've got here, the hospital. We've got enough other factors that aren't just lifestyle based, but that, are anchors sort of in our community that also help with people in there
Yeah,
wanting to move here and live here and feel that security as well. I mean, it also helps that compared to Vancouver, our prices are a little bit less too. That certainly helps.
they're a lot less, but
Yeah.
in some cases, although look at some of these record breaking sales in the past, well, since September. We've had some absolutely mind-blowing sale prices. And I remember not many years ago, I remember hearing something sell for 5 million. And it was like $5 million. And now that, in the past 5 months, how many sales have we had, Shannon, that are like,
Well,
talk
the
about the most
past,
expensive?
yeah, the past year, so last year in the marketplace, we had 18 properties sell in the Okanagan over $4 million. So one of those was for 32 million. We had another one for 17.5
Okay,
million,
pause for a
another
second.
one
30, $32 million.
he,
That's tied for the
here.
second most expensive property that's ever sold in the province of British Columbia. $32 million. And then,
And then
sorry,
the
I just had to
17.
make sure
No,
you
you're
hear
right.
that one.
You're right. You get so used to the numbers, which I know sounds crazy because that's an insane amount of money. But yeah, 32 million, and one for 17.5 million, and another one for 10.5. All of those sales, Tamara, were in the last 6 months of the year. So,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had all the rest of those
Well,
14 others that happened before that.
and presumably those people aren't, going for a 95% loan to value mortgage. They have some wealth behind them. And this is something that, when people say, well, where's the market going to go? And our price is going to go down. To me, and of course, I have a crystal ball. It doesn't work very well, but no one has a working crystal ball. But in my sense, and it wasn't just a one-off sale, as you're saying, Shannon, 3 or 18 over the last
Mhm.
12 months that were in excess of 4 million, which is 4 times the average house price in Kelowna. If those people are investing that kind of money in the Okanagan in real estate, they don't think it's going way down in price, or they would wait. They wouldn't be buying at this point. So I think it's
100%.
really a sort of key indicator that we're going to be just fine. And they always say you don't know you've hit bottom until you're past it and you're looking in the review mirror going, "Oh yeah, that was the time we should have bought." I've had
Absolutely.
that. You've had that. We've all had that.
We've all had it. Yeah, we've all had it. We've all been through that. And I think those sales also
Yeah.
indicate that the Okanagan is on the map. It is a local market. We are a town. I mean, Tamara, you've been here since you were two. Was born and raised here. We've seen
Mm-hmm.
significant change over the years. I think we could do a show just on the change we've
Yeah.
seen in Kelowna. But I
Yeah.
think
Actually,
that's
probably be good.
it would be good, but that's the thing is the message is out. If you're traveling, I mean,
Yeah.
when we go to Toronto and we go to promote our properties, I mean, last time we were there, I'll never forget, Tamara. We get off the airport, we're sitting there at the carousel waiting for our bags. We had bigger
Yeah.
bags, so we were waiting for our bags to come off, and there was the Okanagan Kelowna right on the carousels, pictures of
Yeah.
the beautiful Okanagan. I mean, people know about the Okanagan and they're wanting to come here.
Yeah. Yeah, they really are. And you're right. When we started those road shows, so for those of you who don't know, one of the things Shannon and I do is travel with our listings. For years, we've realized that a lot of the people who are buying, as Shannon said earlier, they're not investors in the sense that they're looking for a return and cash flow properties or what have you. Of course, we've always had some of that, but the majority are people who are wanting to move here, wanting to live here. Now, where was I going with that? It's gone, Shannon. You pick it up.
Well, I think just in general that when we go out, we promote our listings to those out of town markets because
Right.
we do have so many people that are coming here from out of town. We want to make it easy for them to come across our properties. I mean, our whole goal is really to promote the Okanagan and what an amazing, incredible place this is to live. We are so lucky. So our job is easy because we go to these city centers where it's snowing or what
Yeah.
have you, promote the Okanagan, and then of course are able to promote our listings. So that's what we do, and that's where we saw the Okanagan makes our job a lot easier when right at the airport, there's pictures of the beautiful
Yeah.
Okanagan. But
Well,
everybody knows
remember
about it.
when remember when we started though? I mean, when did we first start going to Toronto? That's probably 15 years ago.
Yeah,
And
at
people
least.
had we'd reference Big White because we'd say, we're from the Okanagan, and people would go, okay, the Okanagan. We're like Kelowna. Some people, it was probably 50-50. And then Big White was our sort of anchor that we're like, we're halfway between Vancouver and Calgary, and Big White's our ski resort. And people knew that because Big White has done a great job for years promoting the ski hill. Well, now fast forward, and I guess that 15 or 18 years ago,
Yeah.
Kelowna wasn't as well known. And now when we were there in the fall, everybody knows about Kelowna and the lifestyle and how beautiful it is. So.
And so many people, I mean, it's even when we go to Alberta, I mean, certainly when we go to Alberta, lots of people want to buy a piece of this paradise at some point in their life. They're going to be retiring here, where it's going to
Mhm.
be a secondary vacation property, but they want to come for the beaches and the peaches, as Tamara, you've said before, but and the golfing and and now the skiing and the wineries, and there's just so much here. But I think, I mean, Kelowna has done such a good job of also the airport and the airport expansion. I mean, what are we, the 11th busiest airport in Canada, I think
Ninth.
it is? Ninth. So, I mean, that's
I think it's the ninth.
significant, huge.
And
So
look
we,
at that expansion.
yes, which is so exciting. So we have that, but we also have a high tech industry that they're really promoting and pushing. And, it's not just this resort town that it used to be
Mhm.
20 years ago, or certainly 30 years ago when
Mhm.
we were growing up here. It's changed a lot, and I expect that to continue. So when we look back, tying it all to the
Mhm.
market of what we see compared to last year, as Tamara, you had said earlier, I don't think that we're going to see, a market where our prices exceed or supersede anything. I think we're going to see sort of a steady increase. I think we
Mhm.
have reached the bottom. We have
Yep.
still inventory to get through. Whether we like it or not, there is still a fair amount of inventory, so it's a great time to be a buyer. But I do think that gone are the days of, the desperation of the marketplace. I think we're in a disciplined marketplace, and I think it's going to be a
Mhm.
decent, balanced market through the next year.
I would agree. Well said. So just before we wind this up, can we talk briefly? Because I think some people are interested in neighborhoods and which neighborhoods
Mhm.
hold their value, which are the most expensive, where's there the most opportunity? Because I know that that's something that I was just asked yesterday, and I know we're all asked frequently. So chat about that.
Yeah, so if we want to talk about the most desirable neighborhoods, which again is interesting about the trends of what we're seeing of buyer behavior and consumers looking at the Okanagan. So the most popular neighborhoods were the Lower Mission, Upper Mission, and Glenmore. And what's interesting about that is those are all family neighborhoods. There are lots of them have larger size lots. They're fairly centrally located to amenities and that sort of thing. But it goes after
Okay.
that family consumer. So I thought that's interesting that those are the most desirable neighborhoods. That's for residential sales. When we look at
Wow.
that's for single family homes. When we look at condos, totally different market. When we look at
Yeah.
condos, that the most desirable area or where we had the highest number of sales was Kelowna North, the downtown area, and
Yeah.
and by a long shot. So, and I think that just goes to lots of times condo buyers that are downsizing, where they're moving because of strictly lifestyle, or it might be a vacation property. They're wanting to be really close to the water. They want to be close to restaurants, so Kelowna North, downtown area,
Well,
one
and
in
there are so
condos.
many. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got a lot of supply. We've got some phenomenal new buildings and some phenomenal older buildings as well in that downtown core.
Mhm.
And we have, like everywhere I think in the world, we have had issues with some unhoused people, and I think our city's doing a really good job of addressing that and working through that to bring more density downtown, to support the small businesses and to make everybody feel safe. So
Yeah, I
it's,
agree.
I know that's something that people are asking about, and they're working on it.
And another thing, when we're looking at neighborhoods, it's always interesting to know, well, what was the most expensive neighborhood? And do I live in the most expensive neighborhood? We get asked that question a lot. And most expensive neighborhoods, so the top three most expensive neighborhoods last year was Lake Country Northwest. That's the area we had that $32 million sale. So that's going to help
Mm-hmm.
that average price point.
Skew it a little.
Um, yeah, West Side Road was also one. Again, waterfront properties that we had. We didn't have very many sales there, but they were all waterfront, or most of them were waterfront, quite high-end homes that sold. And McKinley Landing. McKinley Landing actually finished last year as the
Mm-hmm.
highest priced neighborhood. This year, we're now down to the third highest priced neighborhood, and that came in at 1.75 for the average price in
Yeah.
McKinley. What's interesting though, when you talk about opportunity and where is there opportunity, lowest neighborhood, so lowest price neighborhood, what would you guess it is, Tamara, for single family homes?
Rutland North?
Close, Springfield Spa. So average price in Springfield Spa was
Oh, wow.
709. Rutland North was fourth lowest at 828. 820, yeah,
And these
829.
are
But
and these are single family detached houses.
single family detached houses, average price for
Yeah.
Springfield Spa area is 709, which to me, I do think there's a great opportunity there. If you could find a
Oh
good
yeah.
house it's so central. They're doing more and more
Yep.
development in that area. So I certainly think there's opportunity. Last year, we finished the year with Glen Rosa having the lowest sale price, and this year Glen Rosa is, let me see, it's not the lowest, it's third. So 808 is the average selling price. So
Wow.
that moved up three
Yeah.
spots. I mean, this is all
Interesting.
based on
I
number of
just
sales too, because it's an average taken. So
Yeah, but I think there are benefits to both areas. Glen Rosa is on the positive side, tons of green space. You're close to hiking, skiing, and mountain bike trails. 10 minutes away, you've got the thriving city, because it is a city now of West Kelowna. So you've got restaurants and schools and a phenomenal pool and what have you. It's a little further away to get to Kelowna, traffic dependent, because you're crossing the bridge. It might be 20 to 30 minutes. Versus if you come into the Springfield Spa area, you are right there. I mean, and there's some beautiful homes and still some parks. Amenities, of course, are surrounding you entirely. So great
and it's
opportunity
a
there. I think of
and
that
it's a
one that we'd sold
great
last year.
Yeah, it's a great walkability area. So you can pretty much
Mhm.
walk everywhere. If you're a family and have one car, that's a really good neighborhood, as well as when we see, neighborhoods like the Lower Mission and Glenmore, because some pockets of Glenmore, same thing, really good and high walkability. So that kind of gives you the overall
Yeah,
of neighborhoods. We certainly have much more information about the neighborhoods, about the stats from last year. But if anybody's wanting, I guess, a deeper dive into those, if they want to know specifically what their
yeah,
neighborhood is for average price or the number of sales, whichever segment, if that's a townhouse or condo, we have it all broken down. We have a full report on it, so anybody could always reach out to us and gain access to that report.
yeah. We'd love to share it.
Yeah.
So thank you
So
for joining us and Gus, giving us the opportunity to give you a little bit of the sort of insider information on what's really going on the market, because the media is sound bites, it's little snippets, and I think it's just important to be able to have a bigger picture of what's actually going on.
thank you so much and reach out anytime with questions.